Immaculate Constellation. Introduction. This document is the result of a multi-year, internal investigation into the subjects of unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, technologies of unknown origin, TUO, and non-human intelligence, NHI. This investigation was undertaken in response to urgent and credible threats to the public good and safety of the United States of America, and provided to Congress through the UAP whistleblower mechanisms established by the FY23 National Defense Authorization Act and the FY23 National Intelligence Authorization Act. The data consulted during this investigation, and summarized in this report, originate from non-public data held within the executive branch of the United States government, USG. The author obtained access to this information while pursuing their lawful duties as an employee of the Department of Defense. This public version of the author's report was reviewed and approved for public release by the Department of State, Bureau of Global Public Affairs. The results of this investigation are deeply disturbing. Elements of the U.S. executive branch have conspired to prevent the U.S. legislative branch from exercising its lawful powers of governance with respect to the UAP, TUO, and NHI issues. The information provided by the author strongly suggests that the U.S. executive branch has been managing UAP NEI issues without congressional knowledge, oversight, or authorization for some time, quite possibly decades. This criminal conspiracy keeps the elected government of the United States and its citizens ignorant to profound discoveries and dire threats originating from the existence of UAP, NHI, and their technologies. Unambiguous evidence demonstrating the reality of UAP, NHI, and TUO has been made available to Congress by multiple, independent UAP whistleblowers. This document is but one item of evidence brought to Congress. Much more exists and hopefully will be made available. In this public version of the report, information is organized into 7 categories of evidence, including an Unacknowledged Special Access Program, USAP, Imagery Intelligence, Human Intelligence, HUMINT, Signals Intelligence, SIGINT, USG Bureaucratic Records, USG Historical Records, and other sensitive sources. All information in this report is derived from access to non-public information. Section 1. Unacknowledged Special Access Program, Immaculate Constellation. Immaculate Constellation is an Unacknowledged Special Access Program, USAP, established following the public disclosure of the AATIP-AAWSAP programs by Luis Blizondo in 2017. Upon disclosure to Congress, it was determined that this USAP and its collateral information have not been lawfully reported to Congress. Immaculate Constellation's primary mission is collecting imagery intelligence on unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and ARV reproduction vehicles, utilizing tasked and untasked U.S. military intelligence resources. As part of a network of SAPs linked to non-human intelligence, NHI, and UAP technologies, Immaculate Constellation acts as a nexus for collecting, analyzing, and disseminating intelligence on the activities, capabilities, and locations of anomalous aerospace threats that originate from foreign or unidentified sources. The intelligence within the Immaculate Constellation program primarily consists of high-quality imagery intelligence, IMINT, and collateral measurement and signatures intelligence, MASINT, of UAPs and ARVs within Earth's atmosphere. The collection platforms involved are a blend of tasked and untasked capabilities in low Earth orbit, LEO, the upper atmosphere, military and civilian aviation altitudes, and maritime environments. Immaculate Constellation pays particular attention to anomalous aerospace platforms that have been developed through the study or acquisition of technologies of unknown origin by foreign nations or unknown entities. UAP and ARV signatures and preferred operating areas are known to the program, enabling a degree of strategic awareness and warning. Finally, Immaculate Constellation shows that UAP and ARVs are operating around the globe, often in close proximity to sensitive foreign assets and locations. The categorization of Immaculate Constellation as a parent at USAP, with various child SAPs under its umbrella, indicates a high level of compartmentalization and secrecy. In effect, Immaculate Constellation serves as a central or parent USAP that consolidates observations of UAP and ARV activities detected by tasked and untasked collection platforms. Sophisticated internal information security controls are a major part of the Immaculate Constellation program, which enforces compartmentalization by detecting, quarantining, and transferring UAP and RV imagery collection incidents before they are circulated within the military intelligence enterprise. In conclusion, Immaculate Constellation shows that the USG is not only aware of UAPs and TUO, but also foreign state efforts to replicate UAP and TUO capabilities. The data within Immaculate Constellation reveals the capacity of the U.S. Armed Services and military intelligence community to detect, track, identify, and engage anomalous transmedium platforms. Immaculate Constellation also demonstrates the extant capability to detect, quarantine, and transfer UAP and RV collection incidents before they are observed and circulated within the military intelligence enterprise, partially explaining why many otherwise cleared members of the military and IC are unaware of UAP activities. Finally, the existence of Immaculate Constellation provides verifiable evidence of the witting participation by elements of the U.S. Armed Services, Defense Civil Service, and the intelligence community in a global surveillance and reconnaissance mission tasked with monitoring UAPs and ARVs. Section 2, U.S. Imagery Intelligence. The USG maintains imagery intelligence (IMINT) databases accessible to personnel with appropriate security clearances and mission need. These databases are scattered across various organizations and services, leading to a fragmented ownership structure. This dispersion complicates the timely and comprehensive gathering of IMINT related to unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. Control over access to these datasets primarily reside with the military intelligence enterprise, the combatant commands, the armed services, and individual program managers. In Dopacom intelligence vessels positioned to collect on reproduction vehicle, on USG networks, there exists infrared footage of an imagery of a grouping of vessels engaged in SIGINT and MASINT collection at night in a specific area of the Pacific Ocean. In this footage, which was in close proximity to the vessels, a large equilateral triangle UAP suddenly appears directly over the ships. 3 bright points are seen at each bottom corner of the UAP, which is observed to slowly rotate on its horizontal axis. This rotation partially reveals a horizontal bar of sweeping lights. Intelligence analysis associated with this event specifies that the equilateral triangle is a reproduction vehicle, RV, and concludes that the vessels must have been aware of the RV's frequent use of those coordinates, due to foreign prepositioning of advanced collection assets at the exact time and place. After a brief period of hovering and slowly rotating approximately 500,000 meters above the ocean, the RV suddenly disappears, and the footage ends. In Dopacom equilateral triangle UAP tails unwitting vessel, on USG networks, there exists infrared footage of an equilateral triangle UAP, approximately fighter jet-sized, hovering less than 200 meters above a vessel, in the night at a location in the Pacific. Intelligence analysis associated with this event specifies that the equilateral triangle is an ARV/RV of unknown origin. The vessel gives no signs that it is aware of the ARV/RV maintaining altitude and bearing directly overhead. 2 lights on the underside of the ARV/RV are visible, while a third is blocked from view due to a slightly upward angle of orientation. In Dopacom large disk using clouds as concealment, on USG networks there exists appear footage of a large saucer-shaped UAP emerging from within a dense cloud formation. The saucer registered black hot against white cold, with atmospheric disturbances caused by the saucer-shaped UAP visible. The saucer was between 200 to 400 meters in circumference and displayed symmetrical concavities on the upper surface. The saucer-shaped UAP emerges at a shallow angle traveling upwards towards the outer atmosphere. After breaking above the cloud cover, the saucer-shaped UAP suddenly reverses its direction, descending partially back into the cloud cover, then accelerating rapidly out of frame and partially obscured by the cloud tops. This behavior was evasive in nature and implied that the saucer-shaped UAP had become aware that it was under observation by a space-based collection platform. In Dopacom Boomerang UAP observed by pilot and sensor suite, on USG networks there exists FLIR footage of a swept Boomerang UAP maneuvering at an uncertain altitude at a location off the eastern coast of a country. The UAP is tracked against clouds by the sensor suite of the operating craft. The UAP is observed rapidly decelerating to a stationary hover, followed by the sudden emission of a sphere of light from the junction of the 2 wings, which expands to partially engulf the craft in a rotating sphere of light, at which point the available footage ends. Northcom jellyfish UAP crosses US-Mexico border. On USG networks, there exists FLIR footage of an irregularly shaped UAP flying across the southern border. The UAP appeared in FLIR to be mottled irregularly with hot-cold emissions and approximated a jellyfish or floating brain with hanging appendages in appearance. The UAP flew against the wind with no visible means of propulsion, maintained an unnatural rigidity in its movements and flight path, and maintained a comparatively low altitude to geographic features. In appearance and behavior, footage of this UAP violating the airspace of the southern border resembled the same class of UAPs observed near DoD facilities in Iraq and Afghanistan. There exists at least one compilation video of this class of UAP, sourced from DoD Force Protection Assets and Theater ISR, which uses this footage as a point of comparison. Northcom supersonic range fowler intercepts USN fighter. On USG networks there exists FLIR footage and radar data of a supersonic UAP of uncertain characteristics conducting a head-on intercept of a USN fighter operating off the eastern seaboard. The UAP is observed emerging from a cloud bank at high speed and approaching the USN aircraft head-on, rapidly passing over the left side of the cockpit. Radar data from this approach tracks the UAP on its approach towards the craft, providing information on speed, heading, and elevation. Southcom tic-tac detected by space asset in proximity of vessel. On USG networks there exists OPIR imagery and MASINT of a tic-tac UAP transiting through an area of the Atlantic Ocean. The tic-tac maneuvers at an altitude at or near local cloud cover, and correlated electromagnetic signatures were collected by MASINT. In the available footage, the tic-tac UAP transits rapidly through the field of regard as it transits the ocean. No observed reaction is seen to come from the vessel, but its proximity in time and space to the trajectory of this UAP suggests foreknowledge of the UAP event by intelligence. Section 3. Defense Human Intelligence Reporting. The USG maintains a database of intelligence collected by military personnel across a plethora of topics, including UAP. These individual reports are considered raw because they have not undergone evaluation, corroboration, or contextualization into a finished analytical product by military intelligence community analysts. A significant volume of reports documenting first-hand encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, or unidentified flying objects, UFOs, by DoD personnel exists within defense human databases. Many of these UAP reports are filed by military aviators and pilots, as well as service members trained in foreign military intelligence collection activities, and often include photographic evidence and sensor data. When aggregated, these reports reveal significant information on UAP. This section is directly informed by reviewing over 400 defense human reports on encounters with UAPs and UFOs by USG personnel spanning from 1991 to 2022. It must be noted that this dataset is not exhaustive. Other human data sources exist which are omitted from this analysis. The defense human dataset summarized here highlights notable trends in the reporting stream and are presented here along with specific examples. Common UAP/UFO shapes observed in defense human dataset. From 1991 to 2022, the most common UAP shapes reported in this USG dataset were spheres, orbs, discs, saucers, ovals, tic-tacs, triangles, boomerang, arrowhead, and irregular organic. The triangles are boomerangs and arrowhead shapes were by far the rarest and spheres the most common. Variations of morphology within these categories are present, i.e. smooth spheres and spheres with protuberances, saucers without domes and saucers with domes, smooth ovals and ovals with surface structures, jellyfish or floating brains with appendages, and elongated triangles as well as equilateral triangles. Sphere or orb spheres were the most reported shape, with variations ranging from smooth featureless orbs to spheres with visible openings or appendages. These objects' prevalence suggests a possible standard in UAP design or function, capable of high maneuverability and speed. The diversity within the sphere category, spanning from simple, polished appearances to more complex structures with appendages, suggests a broad range of purposes or technologies unique to the platform's mission and/or the originator. Disc or saucer, saucer-shaped UAPs, reported with and without domes, were the second most common shape reported. Flat saucers were reported as well, these being disc-like objects without pronounced domes. Traditional biconvex UAPs are also reported in the data. oval or tic-tac, oval-shaped UPS were infrequently reported within the dataset, and only after approximately 2003, these UAPs either maintained a uniform egg-like symmetry, occasionally tapered into a teardrop shape. Cylinders with convex ends, tic-tacs, fall into this category, and occasionally featured visible protuberances on the top or bottom of the otherwise uniform planform. Triangles were among the rarest UAPs reported in the data. Most of these sightings were equilateral triangles, occasionally with vertical stabilizers visible on the top of the UAP. Elongated, isosceles types were also reported, occasionally with the same vertical stabilizers observed on the equilateral type. Boomerang or arrowhead, boomerangs and arrowhead-shaped UAPs were also among the rarest reported. The boomerang UAPs exhibited bilateral symmetry, with sweeping wings and a high aspect ratio. Arrowhead UAPs also showed bilateral symmetry, but possessed tapered wings and a low aspect ratio, typically with highly swept leading edges. Irregular or organic, irregularly shaped UAPs, those that defy simple geometric description, were among the rarest reported sightings. Shape-shifting UAPs also appear in the dataset, typically having a spherical or dice-like base form from which irregular geometries are seen to project. Floating brain or jellyfish UAPs are present as well, characterized by a central mass from which multiple arms or spars hang downward. Finally, combined shapes were also observed, including cubes within spheres, ringed saucers, and various rectangular and cuboid forms. Common observable behaviors and characteristics of UAP/UFO shapes observed in Defense Human Dataset. Table 1, Sphere Lobe. Observable. Details. Size. Sizes range from small objects to those several meters in diameter. Speed. Capable of stationary hovering to rapid acceleration, speeds surpassing conventional aircraft have been noted. Signatures. Often lack conventional signatures such as heat trails, electromagnetic effects on military electronics reported. Colors. Varied, with grey and metallic, greyish-blue, whitey-white-yellow, and red or orange-red being prevalent. Surface details. Ranges from completely smooth and reflective to having visible protuberances, appendages, concavities, and openings. Behaviors. High maneuverability, including abrupt direction changes and the ability to hover. Often observed to fly in complex geometrical formations and to operate in tandem. Atmospheric phenomena. Occasional disturbances in cloud formations and a heatwave contrails have been reported. Biological effects. Close observers reported feelings of unease and of electronic device malfunctions. Table 2, Disk Saucer. Observable. Details. Size. Generally, range from a few meters to over 20 meters in diameter. Speed. Exhibits capabilities for both hovering and high-speed flight, often making sudden sprints. Signatures. Radar detection varies, visual sightings more common. Some reports include a humming sound. Colors. Metallic silver or gray is common, though some have been reported as emitting light or changing color. Surface details. Variations include smooth, featureless surfaces to those with visible domes or segmented panels. Behaviors. Sudden vertical ascents, hovering, and silent operation. Some reports indicate the ability to become invisible or blend into the sky. Unique emissions. Instances of electromagnetic interference in nearby devices and vehicles. Atmospheric phenomena. Visual disturbances, such as shimmering air or sudden fog formation. Observable. Details. Behaviors. Demonstrates a wide range of hovias, from controlled maneuvering to erratic patterns of movement. Shape-shifting abilities have been reported. Biological effects. Observations include physical sensations of warmth or cold, unexplained smells, CG, ozone, and psychological distress. Unique emissions. The floating brain or jellyfish UAPs occasionally exhibit patterned luminescence or fluctuating lights colors, typically only visible in the higher end of the electromagnetic spectrum. Atmospheric Phenomena. Sudden temperature drops, and the appearance of clouds have been reported. Examples of Defense Human reports on UAP. Close encounter by CVN flight deck personnel. While on active duty in the Pacific, flight deck personnel working night duty experienced a close encounter with a spherical UAP of medium-large size. On-duty flight deck crew observed a small orange-red sphere maneuvering at high altitude above the CVN. Shortly after first observation, the UAP rapidly descended from high altitude to a position directly above the flight deck of the CVN, height approximately 100 to 200 yards. The UAP maintained altitude and matched speed with the underway CVN for an uncertain period. Observing personnel reported altered perceptions of time during the close encounter. The UAPs appeared to emit a soft orange-red light which, bizarrely, did not illuminate the ocean or the flight deck of the CVN despite the visual appearance of intense luminosity. The surface of the UAP was observed to be dynamic, roiling like the surface of the Sun. The UAP took no reported actions during the encounter, only maintaining a close-in proximity to the CVN. After an uncertain period, the UAP suddenly shot into the air, disappearing at a point high above the CVN. Observing personnel felt as if they snapped out of a trance and sense of profound unease. The incident report concludes with noting that the CVN had not responded in any way to what was perceived as a hostile interception by the UAP. Metallic Orbs intercept F-22 on CONUS air surveillance and control mission. While performing a routine airspace surveillance and control mission in the Eastern Air Defense Sector, an F-22 fighter observed multiple UAP contacts at mission altitude. Moving to intercept, the F-22 pilot noted multiple metallic orbs, slightly smaller than a sedan, hovering in place. Upon vectoring towards the UAPs, a smaller formation of the metallic orbs accelerated at rapid speed towards the F-22, which was unable to establish radar locks on the presumed hostile UAPs. The F-22 broke trajectory and attempted to evade but was intercepted and boxed in by approximately 3 to 6 UAPs. One UAP maneuvered in proximity, greater than 12 meters, to the area directly starboard of the cockpit. There the UAP established a rigid spatial relationship with the F-22, maintaining its exact position and orientation parallel with the F-22's cockpit despite multiple evasive rolls and maneuvers. Surrounded by the presumed hostile UAPs, the F-22 was forced out of the mission area under the escort of the UAP formation. Separately, additional internal records confirm the claims of Mr. Lou Elizondo regarding AATIP-AAWSAP's mission, activities, and findings. Additional documents support the exceptional character and credibility of Mr. Elizondo. These non-public documents include letters of commendation, service award nominations, performance promotion reviews, archived email chains, and AAWSAP program briefings which directly corroborate the public statements of Mr. Elizondo. These records also provide additional insight into the activities of AAWSAP, the evolution of the program's findings, and its interactions with senior DoD leadership. Finally, these records provide insight into highly classified and suppressed areas of scientific research and technology development, derived from the study and exploitation of UAP and NHI technologies. Section 5, Restricted USG Historical Records. G00162-78. This serial number corresponds to an official NSA report published in 1978. The existence and content of this report was verified by accessing the appropriate intelligence archives. The substance of the report concerned scientific research in the Soviet Union on the topics of parapsychology, psi, and biological effects of UAP on human beings. Additionally, the existence of this reporting stream demonstrates that U.S. intelligence was explicitly tasked to collect on foreign entities active in areas often relegated to the fringes of scientific research, including parapsychology and the biological effects of encounters with UAP. The fact that significant intelligence resources were dedicated to understanding and exploiting information related to UAPs and NHIs highlights a strategic commitment to understanding the full scope of UAP, NHI, and TUO. These and other classified accounts provide a rare public glimpse, reveal the contours of a secretive, decades-long competition between major terrestrial powers to collect, exploit, and field novel technologies derived from the study of UAP and NHI. Section 6, Signals Intelligence. A substantial body of sensitive signals intelligence collected from peer and near-peer countries demonstrate foreign awareness of UAP events occurring over their sensitive military and intelligence facilities, including nuclear weapons facilities. Due to the exceptionally sensitive nature of the sources and methods involved, only general conclusions are provided here. Foreign countries are known to have observed UAPs whose signatures and behaviors correlate to those observed by the United States. These UAP events are treated by the security apparatuses of each state as serious national security threats due to UAP in proximity to sensitive military and intelligence facilities. These facilities are most often associated with aerospace defense, strategic deterrence, and military-sponsored scientific research and development. On multiple occasions, each of these nations have attempted to intercept and shoot down UAPs violating their territorial airspace and the airspace over sensitive facilities. Foreign countries have internal organizations dedicated to studying the ambiguous threat posed by UAPs, deducing scientific principles through observing UAP, and the careful management of public perceptions of the UAP issue. Section 7. Sensitive Sources. From Mouth to Ear. 6. Conclusion. The official disclosure of the existence of non-human intelligences, NHIs, and their presence on Earth is a pivotal moment in human history. The nature of this information is of such incomparable relevance to the public good that it demands to be shared. Some may object and say that disclosure at this time poses too many risks. To them it must be said that we will never be able to predict how individuals, families, communities, and nations will react to revelations of such magnitude. Moving forward, we must guard against the lure of authoritarian solutions justified by expediency and appeals to national security. The good in humanity will always triumph through time, and it is in moments of crisis that our capacities for achieving the extraordinary are discovered. Be not afraid. Scientia igna probita, veritas perfidum.